Ex is in jail for abuse of a corpse. That's the charge that he got. Let's talk about it. You guys wanted more stories. We dated it from the time that I was 18 until maybe 22. We ended up getting like a house together. We were actually quite serious and nothing was wrong until the last year. And he snapped on me and got physical and literally trapped me in our bedroom for hours. I should say he snapped because he used to have an addiction to pills and was supposedly clean and was like showing me paperwork from going to treatment that his mom was signing for him because he had gotten in trouble. And so in part of the stipulation of getting in trouble was getting sober, but also to prove to his dad, who he worked for, that he was sober. His mom was forging these documents and then signing them, and he was double dipping and turning around and using them for me to prove that he was sober. I'll never forget it. Like I said, I found the substance on him and I was just shocked, and I looked at him and I said, "You are disgusting." And I walked inside and I was looking for my phone. I had my keys in my hand. I was just gonna go for a drive. Like I just needed to go for a drive. And the next thing I knew, I was on the ground being tackled. And then I was in our bedroom being basically held hostage for hours. And we lived in the middle of nowhere. And by the middle of nowhere, I mean, genuinely, I didn't have service on my phone. We only had Wi-Fi, but I also didn't have access to my phone, obviously. I ended up getting out of that situation by pretending to make up with him, waiting for him to go to work the next morning, and then calling my mom, packing everything I owned and leaving. That's how I got out. That's how I escaped. But let's fast forward, okay, to what's currently happening. So he's currently incarcerated. He ended up getting into much harder drugs. Not that pills aren't hard drugs, but much harder drugs, if you know what I mean. And I'm not sure. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation, and I am not going to state anything publicly on a forum of something that is so highly publicized in my area. And all of this is alleged from here on that I am saying moving forward, and none of this is proven fact. All that being said, an individual in his home passed away. The coroner ruled it as an OD. To my understanding, all that being said, very, 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 very sad. This individual was then dumped out of the back of a vehicle. I assume that it was my ex's mom's vehicle. I just have a feeling about that. I don't actually know. That's just what I felt when I heard the story. There was other people involved, just so you know. It was not just my ex and the person that passed away. There was also 2 other individuals, a friend of the person who passed away and a friend of my ex. So there's 4 individuals in the house. So there's like a lot more to this story. Finding that out was terrifying. It was so surreal to be so far removed from the situation. It's been a decade now, but to feel like, I don't know. I don't want to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form, so I hope none of this has come across that way, but it's just a really strange experience, again, to be so close to something yet so far away, to have known someone in the past. My understanding, my ex is the only one who has been charged with anything at this point and gone to trial, and to my understanding, he was not charged with the reason that she passed. This is all alleged.